Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slimefun Tutorial Series here on my channel. I am Boomer, your host, and today we are finishing up Infinity Expansion. We are on part 5. We're going to go through the remaining machines and then we're going to talk about that monstrosity behind me. First and foremost, let's start with the remaining machines we haven't talked about. The basic Singularity Constructor. Singularity is the core of all Infinity Ingots, right? So the basic one will take one ingot at a time, one item at a time. Now, the numbers you're going to see for how many each item requires, and we'll go through all of them, is core default settings. Now, I shouldn't say core meaning Slimefun, I mean just default settings. If you install Infinity Expansion and don't touch the config, Iron will require 2000 singularities. For server owners, these are all configurable, not by each type, but there is a, I'm going to call it an adjustment factor, where you can make singularities as a whole all increase the requirements or decrease the requirements. Personally, I recommend leaving them on default. I think they're pretty fair and they're pretty balanced. They've been balanced multiple times over the last year or so, and I think there's a pretty fair value to them right now. The advanced, or Infinity, excuse me, not advanced, Infinity Singularity Constructor takes 64 at a time. It doesn't matter which one you use, the quantity to create the singularity does not change. One just does one ingot at a time, the other one does 64. Alright, dust extractors. So this is a basic dust extractor. You'll see it takes 4 cobble to give you 2 dust. Okay? So while you do lose dust in the process, when compared to either a core Slimefun dust farm, or some of the add-ons like Fluffy Machines has a dust fabricator, while there you do get 1-to-1, it is significantly slower. So it depends on what you want. If you want speed, the dust extractors are the way to go. If you are concerned about conserving resources, then the Fluffy dust fabricator is the way to go. The recipes are almost identical. One requires more power, but also produces more speed. For the Infinity Dust Extractor, it's the same concept. It does 64 at a time, gives you 64 dust by default. So if you're getting anything other than that configurability has been implemented by the server owner. Moving on to the Ingot Former, same thing. 8 dust will give you 4 ingots. And when you go to the Infinity Ingot Former, 64 dust will give you 32 ingots. So again, it's a 2-to-1 ratio, but you're getting that insane amount of speed compared to other machines that might be slower but use all the resources. Me personally, when I'm building out and wanting to go big, I go Infinity Ingot Former routes, Infinity Dust Extractors, Infinity Combo Gens, and so on. So we've got the Void Harvesters. Now, the regular Void Harvester conducts 1 bit per 1024 Slimefun ticks, or 512 seconds. So every 8 minutes, 32 seconds, using a Void Harvester, you get 1 bit. You need 9 bits to make 1 Void Dust. You need 9 Void Dust to make 1 Void Ingot. So it takes 81 of these, 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Times that by 81. So it's roughly 10.5 hours of gameplay. It's kind of slow, but it's what you're probably going to start with to get your first Void Ingots going. From there, you can go to the Infinite Void Harvester, which harvests approximately, let's see, it's doing the math, about 16, so about every 8 seconds you're going to get a Void bit. There are other options of getting Void Dust, and when we turn around and we go back and look at the Infinity Ingot Farm, we're actually going to use the Mob Simulation Chamber, as it is probably significantly faster. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Then we have our 3 types of cobble generator. Basic cobble generator will make 1 per Slimefun tick. So it'll take you 32 seconds if you're on default to get a stack. The advanced one will do 4 per Slimefun tick. So it'll take you 8 seconds to get a stack. And the Infinity Cobble Generator makes a stack every Slimefun tick. So it'll take you half a second. Now, having said that, we've now covered every machine, item, and material inside of Infinity Expansion. As I promised, we were going to make an Infinity Ingot Farm. Now, is this the absolute bare minimum? No. Is this the absolute max peaked out version? No. I came up with a sort of minimal version, but it's not the most minimal you could make. These are all based off of Infinity tier items or advanced smelteries. I was trying to come up with a reasonable build. Now, the first thing I do want to follow up on is the singularity constructors and how many each item takes by default. So we'll start with netherite, 200. Okay, quartz, 1500. When we talk about emeralds, 500. Gold, 2000. Now that's where with gold, using infinity quarries, they don't generate a ton of gold. So what you can do is convert 4 karat gold in a auto crafter to make it vanilla gold blocks, convert the blocks in a vanilla enhanced crafter, a vanilla tongue-tied. Take the 4 karat golds of Slimefun in a vanilla auto crafter, turn that into vanilla gold blocks. Turn those vanilla gold blocks in another auto crafter back into gold ingots, pump that into the singularity constructor, and that will speed that up. You can also take 24 karat gold in the, I believe it's fluffy machines, there's a gold transmuter, turn that into gold ingots, gold nuggets. Man, I'm getting tongue-tied this morning. Turn 24 karat gold Slimefun into gold nuggets and then convert those nuggets into ingots. So there are multiple ways to increase your gold production. All right, iron we already found out was 2,000. Lapis is 1,500. Redstone 1,500. Silver 3,000. Tin 3,000, and zinc should also be 3,000. Coal 1,500. Diamonds 500. Magnesium 3,000. Now, I will also caution you that you're going to want to run 2 of these with magnesium because there's multiple items that require magnesium singularities in those processors too. And at 3,000 being the highest priced one to craft, you're going to find out you're always going to be waiting on magnesium singularities or magnesium. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So there are ways to increase that production. Lead is also 3,000. Iron 2,000. And again, iron is one that requires 2 different singularities for crafting recipes. So that might be something you would probably double up iron. You might even triple up magnesium at 3,000 versus iron needing 2,000. Copper is also 3,000, and then aluminum is also 3,000. So let's kind of start this process. We'll come back and talk about that end later. We've provided enough power. We're currently running 9 Infinity Cobblestones, and you can see the rate they're running. This is default Slimefun ticks. We're at 0.5 with a 0 cargo tick delay. So we're at maximum speed that can be run. So every Slimefun tick, I'm generating 9 stacks of cobble, which are going into my 9 Infinity Dust Extractors. Now, every so often I see somebody post, what about this stack here on the right? Why does it never come out? There's 2 ways around this. Using networks instead of cargo, if you activate the grabber before you put the items in the pusher, that second stack will never get filled. Now, does it affect anything? Absolutely not. Do you lose this dust? Absolutely not. It is still there. Okay? There's nothing to worry about, nothing to freak out, nothing is broken. It simply means the dust extractor runs faster than cargo does. Plain and simple. So there's nothing to worry about. All right, then we're going to run 9 Infinity Ingot Formers, 1 for each dust. So if you don't see something coming in, that simply means that at that particular moment right now, there wasn't any dust that were created to come into this. Now, with this, doing it this way by going directly from the dust extractors to the ingot formers, it is theoretically possible for your dust extractors to back up momentarily, because let's say if all 9 of these produce lead at once, well, then these would back up until it clears out. The alternative would be to send the 9 dust to storage units, and then from the storage units back to the ingot formers. It's an extra step, but it will keep these from slowing and not having a moment where dust is being run through, and it will guarantee that these don't back up unless the storage units do, in which case you want to turn void access on if you're using Infinity Expansion. We also have 9 Infinity Quarries running, and I have certain oscillators in these. I have 2 diamond oscillators, 2 redstone, a quartz, a lapis, and an emerald oscillator running out of the 9. The 2 that I don't, I wanted to try to increase coal and gold production. By running an oscillator, you reduce everything else. So by having a couple that don't have oscillators, I'm actually able to generate more coal and more gold than I would normally use. Now, I did make one change to the default configuration as I've turned on mining netherite ores in the overworld. So I get netherite ingots and quartz in here. That shuts off the cobblestone production. Okay? So if you don't want it to produce cobble, you have to turn on netherite ores, or excuse me, nether ores being mined in the overworld inside of the config. So I'm currently not generating any cobblestone in all my quarries. And then the Infinity Constructors run. Now, I am using a mob simulation chamber for the End Dragon. This is giving me my void dust and my ender essence that I need. You need ender essence to make magnanium, and of course you need void dust to make void ingots. And there's a 1 in a million chance that I might actually see a dragon egg pop up in there. We'll see if I get lucky enough. Now, the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is getting quadruple compressed cobblestone. So we are using a cobble press to do 8 at a time to pull from single. This is making double. Double is now making triple, and triple is now making quadruple produced. And then I pull it out as need be. So all of those items over here are making just the singularities, but there's more to it than that. We've got a couple autocrafters set up. One again is making void dust into void ingots. I've got one set up over here getting redstone blocks because as part of the adamantite, we need redstone alloy ingots. Let's go to the other side before we start looking at the final piece. We've actually had to set up quite a few machines, all of that, because we have to make reinforced alloy ingots. We have to make hardened. We need to make steel. We need to make Damascus. We need to make aluminum bronze. We need to make bronze. We needed to make Corinthian bronze. We needed to make billet, solder. All of that's part of core Slimefun, and we've got all of that working together. It's all in round robin. Now, it's not super fast because, again, I only have 9 machines pumping out, and it's round robin between the singularity constructors and all of this. So this end is a little bit slow. Like I said, this is not the bare minimum, nor is it the maximum production possible. My base on the Royale server, however, is maximum production possible. And I'll share with that in a minute what I'm kind of running on that server right now. So once I've got all those other ingots come down, now we're ready to start assembling this. So the first one we've got going is adamantite, which requires redstone alloy, mag steel, and diamond singularities. Now, diamond singularities are used twice. Once as part of the fortune recipe and once as part of the adamantite recipe. You could, in theory, have 2 Infinity Constructors going, and if you set the channels right, or if you're using networks, it wouldn't matter in that case. But diamond, because it only requires 500, if you're running oscillators, it'll probably be balanced. All right. We also need, magnanium, which is ender essence, mag steel, and magnesium singularities. And this is why I say you want to run probably 3 magnesium singularity constructors, assuming you're producing enough magnesium, which means you need more cobble gens, right? More dust extractors, more infinity ingot formers to make that magnesium. Plus, you need magnesium for mag steel. So you're running a ton of magnesium through this process. That's why I said you will almost always run out of magnesium. From there, we can now make the 4 basic singularities. So the fortune would be netherite, emerald, adamantite, diamond, and then the last one is gold. And like I said, you need additional gold, so you might want to take that 24 karat that you're generating from your ingot former, convert it back to gold nuggets, back into gold ingots. You could also do the same thing with 4 karat gold. Make those vanilla gold blocks, convert it back. So that's our fortune singularity. From here, then we've got our magic, which is redstone, magnanium, lapis, quartz, and magnesium singularities, which we've kind of talked about. You're going to go through a ton. Wow, okay, so our earth one, quadruple, iron, coal, copper, and lead. And then finally, which I've completely blown through it. The metals one, which is aluminum, silver, tin, zinc, and titanium. So why am I out of some things? Well, again, everything produces at different rates. This is where you may have to play around. Like I said, have 3 magnesium singularity constructors, have 2 iron singularity constructors. You may have to run multiple ingot formers of different kinds just to be able to keep up with the production. Okay, so you can see aluminum snuck in on me. So ultimately, this leads us to the ability to create infinity ingots. Fortune, metal, earth, magic, void ingots, and my thrill. So my thrill, I believe I actually had all the way down at the other end, is iron singularity, redstone alloy, and hardened steel. So again, there's another one where we've got iron singularities being used. All in all, this was a pretty extensive process. Even in creative, I probably spent an hour and a half this morning putting this together. To give you an idea what I run on the Royale MC server to create infinity ingots, I have currently right now as the main system, I have 48 infinity cobble generators running. I also have another 30 running on the other side for some other stuff. I have 2 networks running. I don't use cargo. I use almost explicitly networks. For infinity dust extractors, I run 48. Also on the Royale MC server, they have resource-specific dust extractors. There's one for all 9 dust. I have 28 additional ones for magnesium, 28 additional ones for iron, and 14 additional ones for copper. When it comes to infinity ingot formers, I have roughly 36 of these running of varying kinds to try to keep up. But keep in mind that also covers automating everything, every ingot in Slimefun. Infinity quarries, I run 72 of them. About half are quartz, about a quarter are redstone, a quarter are diamond, and then a couple emerald, couple lapis. Singularity constructors, I believe I have 18 of these running. No, 20, excuse me. I have 3 magnesium, 2 iron, 1 of every other one. So yeah, it's 20. And then I have 1 set making compressed cobblestone, the quadruple compressed. And as far as smelteries and all of that, there's too many to count. I just have way too, I think I have 42 nickel running. I think I have 21 cobalt running. I have 24 smelters running for quartz to make silicon, for ferrosilicon. It's very extensive, very massive, and because I use networks, very lag-free. I don't have any FPS issues. The server runs really well on networks. As a server, as a player base, we've adapted networks. And pretty much for the most part, yes, cargo gets used, but it's about 3 or 4% of what it used to be. My initial base on Royale was almost 3,000 nodes. I'd log on and the TPS would drop. And so when Cephi first introduced networks, I volunteered my base to be the guinea pig for all the testing for over probably 6-7 straight weeks, where we beat the crap out of it trying to find anything that would help, as well as any issues that had to be addressed. And so networks to me is invaluable. It's not a replacement to cargo. Don't misunderstand it, because you need cargo to craft networks. However, it's a great alternative in the process of moving items. So guys, that wraps up Infinity Expansion. Look forward to some Nova stuff coming out over the weekend. But as always, I want to thank you guys for your feedback, your input on the channel. And don't forget, when you're playing Slimefun, you gotta go boomer or you gotta go home. We'll see you later.